Tired of winning the tailgate, but losing the games? We can't help that. But we can tell you what the hell is up with each team and what's going on across sunny San Marcos. Texas State fans, get on your feet. You're listening to Squaring Around with Jakob Rodriguez and Andrew Zimmel.
Zimmel, we cover a lot of things. And unfortunately, until yesterday, I don't think we had done a good job of covering the men's team.
What do you mean? We talk about them every single week.
Well, we talked about them every single week, but it was kind of like a road to nowhere. It felt like it was like, where's the interviews? Y'all have done so much for football. You just kind of, Jacob went to that one game and that was kind of it,
Okay. But also, it has been a road to nowhere. And interview-wise, we started the podcast in December, and since then, it's kind of been a free fall. So it's not, there's not a lot going on.
I regret saying this too, because I said 2 weeks ago on the pod that the team wasn't going to be a 500 team. And then I looked at the math and they still had like 5 or 6 games at that point. And I was like, ooh, I could eat my words pretty easily. And I checked yesterday, they will not be a 500 team, regardless if they win out against Southern Miss and South Alabama, which they play tonight. But yeah, so one of the things I was talking to the coach about, because Zimmel wasn't able to join me this time, he was calling a game and then got stuck in a blizzard calling a game, being a company man. Shout out to Zimmel, because when this podcast blows up, I expect that same level of dedication, buddy.
I'll tell you what, I don't think I'm going to get stuck in a tornado or a blizzard or a tsunami covering Texas State athletics. But I will 100%. I'm kind of like the Postal Service. Rain, snow, or shine, I'm there. I just hope more shine than snow.
Do you remember when the SWAT boats had to come into San Marcos and rescue people with that big flood? They flooded the Meadow Center with that. That's why the golf team has to go practice in Kyle now.
I can't believe that they just didn't fix the golf course. That's I understand why money-wise, but that's a whole different topic. I listened to the interview. The interview's coming up with Terrence Johnson, the head coach of Bobcat men's basketball. And Jacob, you did a great job. Thank you for that.
Thanks, buddy. Yeah, I have some regrets, but I'll talk about that later. Right now, we're here to talk with Coach Johnson about Sunbelt expectations for the tournament next week. Welcome, everybody, to Squaring Around. My name is Jakob Rodriguez. This week on Square Talks, we're joined by head coach of the basketball team, Terrence Johnson. Coach, next week, obviously, huge week for you. This week, huge week for you too. You're playing, team in South Alabama that's the middle of the pack in the league, and then Southern Miss, at the top of the heap for everybody, right before the dance. So I just wanted to kind of start just previewing, recapping the year so far, and then kind of looking ahead towards next week. What are you seeing out there?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously it's been a long year. For us, a long season, but it seems like it's went by really, really fast. So it's the ultimate oxymoron, So I think that this team has grown. It took us a while to kind of get our feet under us, but the team has grown. Every year that I've been a part of the Sunbelt, there are meaningful games down the stretch. This isn't usually a top-heavy league. It's not one of those leagues where the bottom 4 or the top 4. You figure it out as you go, and this year is all the same. So obviously the top 4 done everything that they needed to do. Protect home court and do those things, and then still the appropriate amount of games on the road. But that middle of the pack, we feel like that's a tough group of coaches and players alike. In that anybody can beat anybody on any given night. We've been in both of those spaces before, and this is not as familiar territory for us. But if you look at our games, we feel like we've had a chance and an opportunity to be in all of those games down the last stretch of the game. So I think we're playing some of our better ball right now. Obviously, we want the results that everybody desires. But at the same time, we're improving. So we'll see how this weekend goes. But I like our chances.
Yeah, some of that adversity. I mean, just a bunch of injuries across the board. Have had to play without some key guys. Um, for yourself too, after two explosive seasons, I mean, everybody has Texas State's number, right? They all want a piece of the Bobcats now. So they smell blood in the water, and then it makes it, these physical games in the conference. So you hear it every week at Chelsea's press conferences, with the teams like, yeah, these guys, these guys are coming after us. So
Yeah.
that's tough to manage too, I assume.
Yeah, we expect it. We've been pretty good even before the two championships. We were pretty good before that. This is probably one of our most inexperienced teams that we've had, either with the amount of time that the freshmen have to play, but also combined with the newcomers, and then some of the returners are playing new roles as well. So every team has to go through this. This is just something that we have to go through. Last year we lost 3 players that brought 11 years worth of experience. So the key is to get old and stay old, not just in the league, but across the country. And young guys are growing up really, really fast. So we're excited about the future of the program.
But yeah, those young guys look good. Jordan Mason's had a bunch of really cool games to see, like flashes of greatness, real quick, just out of the box, basically too. Having to play in those situations. The beautiful part of the tournament is getting that clean slate. Yeah, obviously seeding plays an important part in all this too, but just kind of getting to be at that level that like everybody else has to win the same as y'all have to win. Is that nice going into the tournament, just knowing that y'all got a chance to prove, regardless of the record, regardless of whatever, you got it.
Yeah, we've been a part of the tournament since I've been here for 2 years, and the pressure is seemingly, everybody feels like the pressure's been on us. So if we go in the bottom 4, we can't have the same pressure that we had coming in at the top 4. So I'm curious to see how our guys are going to respond. You're giving lemon, make lemonade. So, take full advantage of this opportunity to play free, to play confident, and to live in the moment. I agree with you. It's a 1-game season for us all, and I'm excited to see kind of like how we respond.
Fortunately, unfortunately, this is like kind of been like the team's like answering point all year. Is like, oh, like, what are you guys doing on the court, stuff like that. But I think the thing that sticks out to me in all of y'all's answers is like never giving any excuse. It doesn't matter who's out. It doesn't matter, kind of what's going on in the background, but not apologizing really for any shortcoming. Really, you talk about that. It's kind of like no excuses, basically.
Yeah, Jacob. I mean, injuries are part of the game.
Mm.
So I mean, we take it all in stride. We don't wish that on anybody, either on our team or opposing teams. But we understand that it's a part of the game. We have to have a next man up kind of mentality. We have to have guys that are super diligent and eager to get back, through their rehab and professional about what it is that they need to do, showing up on time, for their rehab and things of that nature. But at the end of the day, we won't make any excuses. Like I said, we've been in every game. Regardless of who we have on the court that night, we've been in every game. And that's all you can ask. A few things go our way here and there, we might be talking about something different right now. But I don't know if if we can ask for anything other than these guys just staying the course, believing in each other, giving it their all, and staying locked in.
Yeah. When Jordan Mason, some of the young guys put pressure on, top teams in the league at home, in Hattiesburg, in a great environment like that too. I was really excited to see that, regardless of the outcome, like as you were saying. So you get a crack at the number 1 team in your last outing, and you get a crack at the kind of the middle of the pack team in South Alabama tomorrow. For reference, we're recording this on Tuesday. Right, is it Tuesday, and so just what do you want to see from these games? And just obviously staying healthy, number 1, but what do you want to see on the court?
Yeah, first is staying healthy. We've had an injury in almost every game, one way or another. So if we could just stay healthy, then that gives us an opportunity to finish games out. Second of all, man, I want to see us guarding a little bit better, being a little bit stingy. I think over the last few games, shooting percentages have been higher than which we would like them to be. It's just been one of those years where we haven't guarded as well as we have in the past. Maybe that's inconsistency in the lineup. Maybe that's me. Maybe I'm not getting my point across, but I like to see us guarding a little bit better. I thought we started out guarding a little bit better early on in the year, and then we kind of spiraled off once we started playing a little bit better on the offensive end. So looking for some balance and consistency with the defense and the offense. And then after that, I'm just looking for great enthusiasm and effort, on the on both sides of the ball, So I want guys out there flying around and having fun.
Can you talk about kind of what this year means for yourself? Obviously, you had 2 crazy years, back-to-back champions, and then, back-to-back coach of the years for yourself. What does this year just presented adversity for yourself? It's tough for the guys on the court, for you and your staff as well, just trying to make those changes to get the team in a winnable situation.
Yeah, usually your third year and everything's going to present a certain level of challenges. So either you start out really, really hot and you're dealt with some challenges in your third year, or you start out really, really slow and you have some success in your third year. So, so I think your third year is going to bring about some challenges. I think for me, one of the things that I had to get over was the fact that just because we lose a couple of games, that don't mean you don't know what you're doing. A lot of times, or something that you're doing isn't working. So it's just a process that we have to accept and then find out how we're going to get one day better. So just getting back to the things that made us who we were, keeping that level of confidence, not allowing injuries and the inconsistency in the lineups to frustrate us or anything like that. Keeping these guys optimistic about the future and about the rest of the season. Just holding these guys accountable through it all and not allowing them to make any excuses. So it's been a challenge. I wouldn't lie to you, but these guys have done a really, really good job of staying the course and giving themselves a chance to win these games. So winning is hard to do, and it's learned behavior. So we're working at it.
Yeah, and your players, I'll be honest, they sound exactly like you. Giving the reporters the answers during the press conferences, not making any excuses for any shortcomings, not making excuses for who is playing or who isn't playing, and just kind of taking it week to week and being able to flush, some of those losses out and try and get out and get after it again. So that messaging is clear. It's coming across the team. It's great. I really appreciate it. He talked about Mason senior class too as a whole, just what these guys mean, and how cool it's going to be to see them do whatever else that it is that they're going to do the next chapter.
Yeah, I mean, if ever you get a chance to coach a Mason Harrell, you've been blessed. Guy that's smiling down on you. He's an amazing guy, great player, and an even better person. He's made my job a whole lot easier, whether or not he's corralling those guys and loving on those guys off the floor, leading those guys on the floor. He's a worker. He's a guy that's an everyday guy. And he's a heck of a player. He's had an unbelievable career here. One day I hope that he's in the Hall of Fame. And I truly believe that he should be. So saying goodbye to a guy like that's meant so much to me is going to be tough. But all great things and good things have to come to an end. So, and I think that in order for something to begin, something has to end. So he's given this university every single thing that he has every night. He's a graduate. He did the things that he came here to do. So he deserves the opportunity to go ahead on and live out a dream playing professional basketball. So we're going to help him and support him any kind of way we can. And I think the sky's the limit for him. I think he's a phenomenal player, and the best of basketball is ahead of him.
For sure. Yeah. No, he's amazing. I've gotten to see so much of his career. This is his 6th year, right, in the program? This is
5th year.
5th year. So that's kind of unheard of too. It's just guys staying, obviously the kind of landscape, not only of college basketball, but just college athletics have changed too. So having a 5th year senior, that's meant so much to the program, has been doing all the things he's done off the court and on the court. It's tremendous for a program.
Yeah, absolutely.
I got to say, Coach, I think you have the best Zoom setup too of all the coaches. We've done 2 other coaches so far, Coach Woodard and Coach Trout. So that's sick.
Zooms. What do you mean? What's the Zoom, like background?
Like the background and everything, yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, all right, cool. Yeah. I appreciate it. it's a messy office right now, but we've Miss Shelley, our administrative assistant, she's done a really good job of kind of decorating this place and getting it looking halfway decent.
Well, this is like the busiest time for anything in the athletics department. I mean, track's dominating right now in the Sun Belt, indoor, track and field stuff. Baseball's taking off, softball's taking off. Y'all got your tournament next week. So does the women's team. So it's kind of like everything's popping off at the same time. So I don't blame anybody.
Best time of year. Best time of year.
Yeah. For sure. My last question is kind of a lot different than the other ones I was asking you. Do you have any advice for people trying to hit that half court shot for tuition?
Yeah, I was asked about that a while back, and I would say this: don't come up short. You won't have a chance if you're short. I think I think you use the backboard to your favor. I think you find a way how to get square up on the goal, and you shoot for the backboard. And if you think you can give yourself a chance there, if you come up a little bit short of the backboard, maybe it goes in all net, but just don't come up short. So you got to give yourself. So I'm head up on the goal right there. I'm trying to line it up, and I am trying to at least hit the backboard, and give it and give it a chance. So trying to hit that box and give it a chance. I think it's easier to try to do that. Or if you're trying to go all net, that's fine. Just get some arch under it and give it a chance. You better to come up long than short. If you're long, maybe it hits the backboard and goes in.
You think this is like a run up, or you're just trying to launch it?
It's probably going to be a run up. That's a long launch. So it's at least a, one dribble, two dribbles, 3 steps type of thing, and follow through with it.
Awesome. Cool, Coach.
Somebody's going to make it, though. I do believe somebody's going to make it.
I think some people have gotten close. But yeah, like you were saying, I think, I don't know how many they've done, but probably half of them come up short just in itself.
You don't have a chance. You only have a chance if you're right on target or if you're long. So you got to go with 2 out of the 3. So you're right on target or you're long. But if you're short, you don't have a chance.
Cool. Well, thank you, Coach. I appreciate you setting some time away. Sure. It's a super busy week again to talk to us about all this. So appreciate you joining me. Thank you again.
Indeed. Pleasure, man. I love what you're doing.
So it was an interesting conversation because basically immediately Coach was like, listen, I know the kind of season we've had. We've been kind of going through everything. And I guess like the main sticking point for him is like, regardless of the outcome of these 2 games, like he just wants to play consistent and everybody stay healthy to hopefully have a chance next week.
Yeah, I think consistency has been a real problem. The health of the team is kind of up and down, but that's like, I think every team has to deal with this at some point. It's a shame that the Bobcats have to deal with it to this level this season. I would have preferred, if you're going to have injured guys, I'd like them not all to get injured at the same time. And that's kind of what I felt like the timing kind of happened for some of these guys. If this is the worst season Terrence Johnson has at Texas State, then that's fine. You know what I mean? But we just can't string like 2 or 3 of these seasons together.
And that's what I was telling him too, is like, his first season he comes off, he gets Sun Belt Coach of the Year. They win the regular season title. They get bounced in the tourney, but it was just kind of crazy for a first-year head coach to do that, especially considering what he was taking over. And not necessarily the cleanest handoff, I would say, for lack of a better word. But in the second year, he does the same thing. Once his luck, twice his skill. So great coach, obviously. And then we lose a couple of seniors. He was telling me he lost 11 years of experience off the court, and so that you're literally seeing the ramifications of that.
You can tell during the season. You can pick up on that.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, it doesn't matter how much talent you have. It's like how many games have you played?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I really wanted to. I was talking about I had some regrets. I really wanted to talk about Alonzo Sully, just like being able to see kind of that growth too, even though he's not on your team anymore. But he's a guy you recruited, and a guy that meant a lot to the team. It must be kind of cool seeing that stuff. And
I think that is cool. I think you're right. Like to look across the conference and see a former Bobcat like doing what he's been doing this year for JMU. Like, I mean, that's really cool.
Especially if it does no damage to Texas State. as long as JMU doesn't bounce out Texas State next week, as far as seeding goes, and however the tournament falls, it would be one thing. But Texas State gets bounced out by South Al next week or another middle of the road team. It's like, and then Sule does amazing. He gets the MVP of the league, and they go off and do something in the tournament. That would be really cool.
If Sule is the MVP of the tournament, you've got really good odds for that, because that's probably not going to happen. But shout out to him. He's had a really good year, and it is cool to see former Bobcats kind of doing their thing, flourishing, even if it is in conference.
And another thing I wanted to talk to him about was he had said something in a press conference that I was at the Lafayette game for the Jeff Foster court dedication. And he had said that the team had trouble believing in themselves. And I was kind of like, I wonder if that has changed. So that was kind of the question I wanted to ask. But we're on kind of a time crunch because the coach had to get somewhere. And obviously they have 2 games this week, so he's kind of busy.
Yeah. Speaking of time crunches, Jacob, it is these podcasts, man. This has been a busy week. I'm glad that we were able to get together. We'll get together again for a normal squaring around this week. But Square Talks, dude, it's all you this week. So shout out to you, man. You did a great job.
Square Talks featuring the mustache. Thanks, Zim.
Yep. Thanks, Jacob.
Thanks for listening. New episodes out every Thursday. Follow the boys on Twitter. Eat 'em up. Eat 'em up.